Welcome back to AA with John and Kev. Kev, sup,
For
man?
the last time.
I'll just say a prayer. Anyways, what's going on, big guy?
I'm feeling somber
Why?
just because of the news that you shared.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal for me just to share with y'all. I'm moving to North Carolina. So when Kevin and I continue this podcast, of course, we're going to be doing it in a different way. It won't be in the same basement or whatever, but we are going to be continuing it.
Long distance relationships never work. And you know that.
I think this one will. But, that's the thing. I told Hallie, I've been saying it my entire life, and now I feel like I'm going back on what I said. I've always said I'll never leave Ohio, ever. I've always said that. And here I am, going to North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Sometimes you leave Ohio. I think you'll be back.
I don't know, man. It
I
depends.
think opportunities will just present themselves in a way that someday it'll make sense to come back.
It all depends on how my career goes in North Carolina. That's what really the determining factor is.
Right. And you got to talk to the CEO.
Yeah. I have a Zoom call with him next week, but yeah, I mean, when I spoke with him today, he was talking about, not just me being testing, he's wanting me to be a project manager because he
Right.
loves my history, he loves what I've done, and that's what the Zoom call is about because he wants to know my history and how I've...
You're somebody who makes something happen.
Yeah, I mean, I progress business. I don't sit and I don't just want a day-to-day job. I want to progress and go further and further and further.
Right.
But the thing that's scary to me is, I'm good with people. I always have been. But it's like moving to a new town is scary as shit to me. That's why, even when I went to Elyria, which is only 45 minutes away from our hometown, that's not a big deal, but I still hated it. And when I
Right.
got back to New London, I was like the happiest I could ever be. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because I love my hometown or I don't know.
I like being in New London too, and if I had my way, I would. But
How did you
I
and
think-
Chelsea feel when you went to San Diego? Was it like anything?
Well, that
weird?
was my third time doing
Oh, I know,
it. So
but-
to me, I think that, I mean, the first time you get like homesick for sure. Like you will feel like, I don't know. I didn't make any close friends. I didn't hang out with anybody any of the times. It was, the first time it was me and my aunt. And the second time it was me and a girl I was seeing at the time. And then the third time it was me and my current family.
The big thing that I see in it is like you can be bored in your hometown and then it's okay because you can find something to do if you really wanted to do it. If you're bored in a new state or new
it's 'cause
city,
it's
it's like
you don't want to explore. Like the last weekend, me and Chelsea were there. We went out with some of her friends from work, and I feel like we had such a good time, and I really regretted not doing it more while we were there.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we went to some concerts and comedy shows and things like that, but we didn't really go out very often.
oh, you're
I
talking
think
in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it came from not wanting to have to have my aunt watch Lincoln while we were out doing
Sure.
whatever the hell we want. You know what I mean? It just felt wrong in a way. But
It's really good of you to be honest.
but I don't know if that's really why we didn't. But maybe we're just antisocial. You know?
I don't think so. I could tell just by your personality and Chelsea's as well. But either
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
I think it's honestly. Do you think?
But
if
I'm
you
saying
went,
to try new stuff out. It's maybe not antisocial wasn't the word, but just anxiety towards new things. And I know better than anyone. Your life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
that's what I'm so afraid of is the
Well.
anxiety of basically the unknown because I don't know
No, yeah,
North
you
Carolina.
should just dive in it and try not to pay attention to that fear. Is my advice. I have trouble following that advice. Though.
Here's the weird thing about where I'm moving. I'm moving to Greensboro in North Carolina, and the company that more than likely I'm going to work for, I'm not going to mention it, but they are located in High Point, which is about 20 minutes away.
It's a great commute.
High Point is a really fucking bad neighborhood, really bad.
That's where the company's based.
I guess.
Or is that the town where you're moving?
Oh no, I'm moving to Greensboro.
That's a good town, 20 minutes outside.
But the company
is High
or
Point.
the facility is in High Point, and I guess I don't know because I've never been there. But I guess
What'd you
it's really
do?
bad.
Wikipedia, the crime demographic.
I've seen all kinds of things on High Point. All kinds of things. I didn't go specifically out of my way to look it up, but I've heard that in my past. and
I've never.
I've seen different news stories on
It's
High Point. and
Cops is filmed out of High Point, North Carolina.
basically.
Cops
Live
is filmed
PD is
on
pretty much
location.
High Point, North Carolina the whole time. But no, you can. I actually just recently saw a video on
Do you
TikTok.
back the blue?
It depends.
That was just that's a hard interview question.
It honestly depends.
You're in a job interview and the person interviewing you is like, "Do you back the blue?"
it's as simple as I can make it. I believe that there are certainly good cops and bad cops, just as I believe there are good people and bad people.
For sure.
I think that's like the perfect answer.
No,
for
like
it.
there's Verizon reps that will lie straight to your face and add like twice as much to your bill than what they're telling you. And then there's like good Verizon reps that are honest with you. And that's the same for McDonald's workers, Verizon,
Right.
police, firefighters, every single job you could work at, there's going to be good and bad.
I love that, dude, because you bring up McDonald's, and I want to bring up, of course, my TikTok that went semi-viral, which I'm in love with. And the funniest part was people get really mad about stuff, and there's no reason to be mad about it. And if you go to my TikTok, it's John Pohl, same as everything. You'll see that video
No,
where
it is not same as everything because it took me a while to find you on there.
I just changed it.
So
to
you have
match.
the H.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I just changed it. So
I was
everything
gonna
is.
say, dude, I was like highly because I was like, bro, where is this
like,
thing?
what the hell, man?
Because I saw the original post you did, but then I like watched it for the first time, but then I wanted to go back and look at it again, and I could not find you on TikTok, bro. I was looking forever, and like all these other people with your last name were coming up, and I was like, that is not him.
But anyways, I made this TikTok because, of course, my fiance's pregnant, like I mentioned on the last episode. We woke up in the morning. She's like, I'm hungry. I'm craving a McChicken. And clearly they don't serve McChickens at 8:35 in the morning.
They have chicken biscuits though. That's what I would have went with.
Sure, but I didn't see a chicken biscuit on the new London McDonald's menu.
There might not be a New London,
I
but
don't
I'm saying
think
that
so.
is, and that's a menu item that's actually fire.
Dude, I would guarantee it.
Yeah.
Chicken biscuit is huge for Chick-fil-A. But anyways, so I went there and I'm telling the guy, like, listen, I have a pregnant fiance at home and she really wants a McChicken. And he tells me in this TikTok you can go watch that he can't make the bun, but he can make the patty and it's going to take about 4 minutes. And I say, okay. But anyways, this entire video of all the people seeing it and liking it, whatever, the comments is the best part.
I was gonna interrupt you and then I held off because I was gonna be like, the comments are hilarious.
There's this guy on. I'm even going to call out his @name. You can go look. There's this guy that his
Have you been
@name is.
responding and interacting with the
No,
comments?
I'm not going to get involved in that.
You shouldn't.
Absolutely
you really,
not.
honestly, I've always heard like if you go viral, you just should not
Nope.
read the comments.
Absolutely not. No, I mean I'll read them, but I'm not going to interact
Shouldn't-
with it.
Yeah, you shouldn't even read them. They say.
But this guy, his @handle and on TikTok is dripping like ranch, and
That's
this
a good
guy,
name. Honestly,
he must really know McDonald's. But anyways, this guy for real, in at least 100 comments out of the 500 that are on it, said, "Get an education." It's on a McDonald's post, so what education could you possibly need? He kept saying well, breakfast starts in the morning and then they start lunch at 10:30 or something like that. It's like, get an education. It's like, on what, dude?
and plus that varies by location. The times vary by location, bro.
I'm not kidding. Hallie and I were reading these comments. She's dying laughing.
No,
at
because
this
some
guy.
people are out there actually getting worked up at their house over something you posted on TikTok.
I just wanted to get my girlfriend a McChicken or
It's
my
funny.
fiance.
It's funny because a lot of people really are like this pretentious fucking asshole, just expecting the world to revolve around him.
His first comment before actually arguing with anybody, he said, "Fucking entitled people." I was like, dude, I asked for it. I didn't demand it or anything. It's like, what
No,
are
you were
talking
really
about?
polite about it. You were just straight up like, "Yo, would you be able to go a bit outside of the normal for me this one time?"
Like, hey man, my fiance's pregnant. She has cravings.
Now,
Please, just
to
do
be
it.
100, if I was doing something like that, I would slip an extra $5 up at the window and
I tried to give the guy. The weirdest thing is the guy that brought the actual the McMuffin McChicken out to me.
right because you had
He-
to pull ahead.
Yeah, he came out there and he's like, the funniest thing is I had to do the same exact thing for my pregnant girlfriend a while back, and they did the exact same thing, on the McChicken, the same exact story. He's like, it's crazy to me that I did the same exact thing.
The
And-
worker.
yeah, the worker that came and brought me
Bro,
my
I
food.
swear to God, if my girlfriend wanted a McChicken and I worked at McDonald's, I wouldn't be making them in my kitchen because I'd be stealing shit and taking it home.
I didn't think about it until later, but
You
I
think
guess
he was just trying to make you feel good?
possibly.
That would be a dude that's going above and beyond, though, to make up a
Right.
story just to be like, "Hey, bro, don't
I
worry
get
about
it,
it."
But the
Yeah.
thing is, I thought about it way later, and again, I just woke up, and she asked me for a McChicken, so I'm not in my right mind. I'm just waking up, whatever.
What if every single day she did that to you? It's like a never-ending
baby
nightmare.
McChicken.
the friggin' like baby's born, and the next day you're like, finally, and like it still keeps happening.
Like it becomes an addiction. Like we have to wean you off. We're gonna start with nuggets, and then we're gonna go down from there. But anyways, no, it's to me. I thought about it later because I guess there are like different machines they use for stuff, and on the because I'm only learning this from the
That's
comments.
understandable, yeah.
Clearly,
Different machines they use for stuff. I'm following you.
I'm sure they don't use the McChicken machine for the ice cream.
No, yeah.
But obviously
It'd be
that.
broke.
But I guess like the way they toast their McMuffins is different from the way they toast their buns for McChickens.
I'm sure it is.
And that's was a lot of the people in like the comments were saying.
They were saying that if you it's not the fact that it's different that they toast them differently. It's the fact that if they open the buns for the McChicken, they're going to use one for you right now, and then the rest are going to be expired from being open by
they're
the time lunch gets
frozen.
here.
I thought
I don't think the buns are frozen.
that's what they were saying in the comments.
The bread deliveries are pretty frequent. I don't
Oh.
think the chicken patties are frozen. The buns are never
I
frozen.
thought they were saying the bread was frozen. But either way, what I should have told them is like, just give me one bun, tie it back up, and I'll toast them at home. That's what I thought about it later.
We
It's
could
like,
have had we should have had Chelsea feature on this episode because she used to work at McDonald's. She could probably give us some insight as to whether the buns are frozen or not.
Chelsea!
No,
I know.
we should have just planned better.
That's the craziest thing. And I did this literally, it just as like a funny Snapchat video. And, you know, a long time ago, I actually had a decent amount of feedback on Snapchat. You remember like the stories I would do just talking to my phone?
Yeah, it
And
was
I
almost
got a-
like you had a therapist in
I got
Snapchat.
a decent amount of feedback on that.
I think
So-
my aunt and you responded back to each other about stuff that you were talking on your story.
Oh
at one
yeah,
point.
several times, yeah. But you know, I got a lot of good feedback on Snapchat just because of the stories I would tell and whatever on there. And I think about it because that day when I had made that choice to be like I just want to put this on TikTok and see what happens, and then it goes fucking semi-viral. I'm not gonna say viral because it's about 100,000 views. It's not viral. It's semi-viral. I would call it.
How many likes? Like 1,000?
Like 20,000.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, it's good, but it's not viral on
If
TikTok.
you can bang those out weekly, you can start making money.
Right. And I'm curious as to if like the videos I used to make in the day where I got good traction on Snapchat, that I should have posted them on TikTok back then, just to see if it would
You
where
can
it would have
still
gone.
repost them. You could, I mean, if you have them saved to your store,
I do.
and that's the thing. You could still post from day one. You could do it in order and just
I know.
start a whole TikTok called John's Chronologue. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm a totally different person. So I want to be creative and start new. I don't want to go back to like what
I'm
I
just
used
saying,
to
but
do.
you could just like post your old content.
Yeah.
It's still. I mean, even though I don't think at the time you weren't thinking of it as content, that's kind of what's cool about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the craziest thing to me. It's like one day you just like, let's just see where this goes on TikTok, and then all of a sudden you don't expect it to go anywhere, and the next day you wake
Well,
up.
no, that's the thing because I had something go like mildly, like it caught on Twitter like a couple years ago. So after you went viral, I was like, let's see if I can. So I just tried, and I only got like 1,000 likes. But still, that's still a pretty good amount.
I told Hallie about this, and I said I have no idea how Kevin is not famous for this video because it is the best prank.
but it's not
I've
even
ever heard
real.
of.
It's a lie
It's a lie.
because I don't know what
My whole
was
fucking
happening.
life's a lie now.
Well, listen, what was happening is I don't know what was happening. I was just probably stoned in California, just had my camera on out the window, and this guy was coming home. I wasn't like trying to film this guy at all. Like he just happened to be in my frame while I was recording.
You should have tried to run this, but like, yeah, dude, I actually did that. It was funny as shit.
Well, yeah, that was the joke.
Because this is the funny thing. In that video, he literally
No,
like,
I know,
looks.
and you can hear like something in the background that could almost be resembled as somebody talking in a funny voice, but you don't hear. You could debunk it easily because I'm not talking when you can hear whatever he's looking for. So whatever, but it is funny.
Dude, I told Hallie about that story because I thought it was real. You never actually told me it was
I'm
fake.
sorry.
I told Hallie about that story, and she still like started dying. Like she thought it was the funniest prank of all time, and I agree with that.
Well, the
you
idea of the prank, and this is actually like dark, and I probably shouldn't even say it, but I'm gonna do it because I was a kid. So the real walkie-talkie prank was when my great grandma moved into my dad's house because she had Alzheimer's. Me and my siblings would put a walkie-talkie back in her room underneath the baby doll and like act like the baby doll was talking. And play a prank on her like that. And no, it's bad, but I've learned from it.
It's so good though. It's mean as shit. I know, but
Well, she didn't get mad. She just got a
course
little
not.
funny, confused.
If-
I feel like it's a normal kid thing to do to mess with people. A little bit. Right?
It's funny as heck, man. I think the only reason that Hallie found it so funny is because I brought up, and I started from the whole beginning too. Like I told us, like Kevin went to the store because I thought that's what you did. Like that you went to the
I
store.
think you created this because
I know,
I don't
but
think I've ever.
I'm picturing
yeah.
in my mind is like either Lincoln has walkie-talkies, but Lincoln
This-
wasn't even involved in that time. So then I'm thinking Kevin had to go to the
No,
store
this
to get
Lincoln
walkie-
was there at this one.
Oh, at that one? That's when you
Yeah.
were there? Oh, okay. But either way, I had told Hallie from the beginning, I was like, he went to the store, bought walkie-talkies, and put one in these fucking... Which you can tell on the video, those plants need water. Like,
They
really
do.
bad.
I know. It just all worked. Everything about it worked.
I have no idea. That should go viral. Because if that was an actual prank, it's one of the best pranks in the world.
One thing that I also think that going viral on TikTok has to do with the hashtags you do.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And Hallie said the same thing because I hashtagged pregnancy. So a bunch of women saw
that's
that.
that's a viral one.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I went wrong, and maybe I'll just delete it, repost it, and see
And
what
say
happens
pranks,
on a different
blah,
one.
blah, blah.
That's one thing TikTok doesn't allow you to do.
Well,
is
we can't
edit your
release this
caption.
now because people are going to know it's fake.
I don't. No, I
know,
don't
I'm
care.
kidding, I'm kidding.
It's not about that because our average viewer is not the average internet.
I don't know
user.
what it is about me that finds that so perfect, but in a prank like that, I try to envision myself walking to my door. I'm going to go in the place where I live, where I'm growing tomatoes, and then all of a sudden I hear, water me. Like, I would be, what the fuck is going
dude,
on?
I'm gonna just go back to my car and drive to the psychologist.
Like, I'm out. I can't.
Probably maybe just the ER and get admitted to the psych ward immediately because I have schizophrenia. Like that's not a nice prank. I shouldn't have not done that to my great grandma. I'm sorry.
Easily, you have a amazing mind for pranks because that should have been. That's unbelievable to me.
Some people call me Ashton Kutcher's prank.
Yo,
Pranked Ashton
it's not
Kutcher.
punked. It's fucking prank.
Punked. Yeah, punked.
Yeah, we're just gonna make a new show called Pranked. But anyways, that is, I swear to God, I think that's one of the best pranks, even though it's fake now. Whatever. One of the best pranks I've ever heard of in my life because I would shit myself if I heard that, and then I'd water them right away, dude. Like it'd be really fast. Like
Yeah.
I'm watering the shit out of these fucking tomatoes.
Thank you.
Sounds like how at the end of my TikTok I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
I do that at every single. It doesn't matter if it wasn't for TikTok. I do that at every drive-through. Not kidding. It's like they say, "Pull around, please." I'm like, "Thank you."
That's funny. So when are you? When you don't have any clue, you got to sell your house, all that stuff. You don't have like a solid plan in place. It's again depending on what the work people want and like their accommodations and offering and all that.
The big thing for me is, of course, selling my house. That's going to give us the lucrative side that we can actually go down there and live. Clearly,
So have you already contacted your realtor?
yeah, absolutely. She told me. Unseen, she knows what she thinks the house can sell for, but she has to see it first. So I said,
What
give us
was
2
her
weeks.
estimate?
Around 150,000. So
I wish I had the money to just get it from you.
I owe about 987.
So you'll come out like 40.
And that's at the base level with her unseeing it. But I've done a lot of upgrades. You know, I've done a lot of stuff, redid the whole porch, put new lights
So
in
you're
the
thinking
front.
maybe like 185,
Not that much.
170.
The biggest thing Hallie and I are hoping for is that we can sell our house furnished. Because as you've seen, our house is very beautiful and dressed very well.
You're gonna leave that table?
I'm going to leave it all. Is what I'm hoping
No,
for.
the table
in the office, yes.
I want the office table. How much should we? I mean, if you could just replace that with a different office
Kevin,
table.
that was a very expensive table. You don't want to buy it.
I'm just saying, but to include it with the house, I feel like you're just taking it at a fair loss. You could buy a $200 table to replace
I'm
it.
hoping the people that buy the house understand antiques and understand why I'm selling it for so much.
With. You can try that. I mean, in New London, bro, it's so hard to find that kind of buyer. You're talking about somebody who's like shopping in like Nashville, Tennessee.
Here's the thing. I looked up, just because you know that I love antiques, I never did the research, but I actually looked up to when, you know, my big wagon wheel in the corner of my house. I looked up to where that like date was, to one that like matched it perfectly and what it's selling for right now. There was one for sale for $65,000. Now it was perfect condition. So mine's
I think
not
that
even
was
worth.
probably like the wagon wheel of like the guy that said the British are coming. The British are coming.
Yo, Paul Revere, shout out.
It was the wagon wheel off Paul Revere's wagon.
But anyways, no, it's dated back to like the mid to semi late like 1875 era. Like it's legit all like the exact same wagon wheel, but mine's in rough condition. It has spindles missing and all this kind of stuff.
That honestly, I feel like adds character to like being a decorative piece.
Exactly. And then that's why, it's going to be fucking hard leaving it behind. But I'm hoping whoever buys my house has that appreciative kind of side. Says, I love antiques. And, they'll see, and I can actually tell my realtor, like, how they can explain, like, this is this. These are real antiques. I have a lead glass window.
You think she's good? He or she is good enough?
Yes.
You think she's good enough to sell your house in the way that you want? Why don't you just do it yourself? What do you need the realtor for? You don't have your your real estate license?
I wish I did.
Well, that's like a $2,000 6-month deal.
I told Hallie to get hers, but
I think it's like super like I feel like I'm stupid for not doing it.
I mean, the biggest thing is, and it's not California because it's a much more like demanding kind of study in California. They make you go through a lot more, especially if you want to sell houses in like Malibu. You got to study and you have to like take a longer course. It's crazy. But I told Hallie to do that when we moved to North Carolina to get her real estate. But the thing I want to go back to with, my antiques and stuff, like I literally have a lead glass window that's from like 1812. I have no idea how much that's worth at all. But I'm hoping that literally the person that buys my house understands, and clearly as you walk through my house, again,
and
it's
plus
beautiful.
Right now, for real, bro, houses are selling for like $30K, $50K above what you list them for.
The peak of the market.
I've heard from folks that are like trying to put in an offer for what the house is listed for, and then they get outbid by $50,000.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping it goes very well because I want enough startup money that I can relax for a long time, even if that job where I'm hopefully going to work doesn't work out. I have plenty of time to figure it out.
I'm pretty sure there are Go Wireless locations in North Carolina.
Hey, hook me up.
I'm just saying. No, you already interviewed for the company. I mean, you should just when you get that call, you should just be 100% honest. Be like, we're definitely going to be making this move. Would you be like willing to talk more about like how the final ending with Air C High Q went?
Sure. I mean, I can't. Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying, like how, like, cause like, that's what.
Goodness.
Like,
I mean,
that's what's leading.
It's family business. That's the big thing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Everybody knows how family business goes. Some work, some don't, and this one did not. I'll never say anything bad about my mom or dad, but there's disagreements, and that's always going to happen. But the meeting today that we talked about was basically, the understanding that Barry and I both, my father, we had the conversation that it's worth saving the family more than it is saving the business. And we both kind of agreed on that statement, I guess. My mother, once I had said, because, the big thing for me, the biggest thing actually, is I don't, and Hallie actually kind of like concurred with this as well. She's like, I like to be appreciated for things. Like, I don't know what it is. She's like, that's like my love language. I don't even know what that means.
To be appreciative?
I need to be appreciated for the things that I do, is what Hallie says. Like, she thinks
you should be appreciated.
Yeah, and I went a long time, and like I grew that business. And even if they listen to that episode, Mom, Dad, hey, it's like they'll say that maybe I didn't push as hard as I could, or I could have worked harder. Maybe they might say, but I literally did every single thing that I could. And Barry told me today, he's like, basically, for the past couple of weeks, after you and your mother just had your last fight, I basically just didn't want you working here because clearly it's not going to work out. So I told...
And that's I'm just going to like intervene for 1 second. With a family business, now you've got, Dad trying to decide. He has to go home with your mom every night.
Yeah.
So if he's on Team John and Mom's not, then that causes a problem at home for him now. And now is it John the packager, John the hazardous materials, whatever you do? Is it that guy, or is it John my son? Or you know what I mean? It gets so confusing and so messy and terrible. And if you can avoid it, you should at all costs. Obviously, it's put you in like a wonderful position, and you should, like, as they should appreciate you, you should also appreciate what you've like had in front of you and all that. But at the end of the day, I think that this move is a step in the right direction.
It really is. And to be honest with you, how you said like Barry was Team John, Carolyn wasn't, it was actually the complete opposite. Barry wanted me gone. My mom said, hey.
How long? How long?
It took about 2 weeks. The fight
I'm
was
saying
about.
like when did Barry start showing signs that he was like upset? Was it real recent?
It was when our big fight broke out. That's where he's like, "Man, I just can't deal with this anymore." And
So it was a disagreement between you and your mom that didn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was a disagreement, but it didn't make her want you out of the company. But then the turmoil just basically made Barry feel like we just need to cut this off at the head.
because he was on like the same idea that I was. It's like it's worth saving the family
The
relationship
family.
more than it is the family business. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was the exact opposite. My mom kind of, I guess, talked Barry into keeping me there, and once he had said he wanted me out, that was my ticket out of there. It was to me, it's like once he said that, because I've worked with him for the last 7 years and growing his business
No, I
and
know.
working as hard as I could to make that business the best that it could.
If
growing
somebody
it in-
called and when we were like having a conversation or doing something as friends, the only person you'd pick up for is Barry.
Yeah.
That was like the call that you had to answer.
Yep. And I worked for 7 years, trying to grow his business, because he had a full-time job and he was trying to work it and he needs somebody to help him.
He had a
do
full
his-
time job at somebody else's business or his other business.
No, somebody else's business.
Okay.
And, I stepped in there and I did everything that I could. I put that company in the right direction because HiQ, we don't have to go into the semantics of the business, but there's multi-divisions of the business. And Barry's idea of business and how you make business grow is you get in your car and you drive across the country and go to different businesses and say, hey, do you do this? No, not conventions.
Oh.
Just sales calls, basically,
No,
driving
just
across the
basically
country.
door to door sales.
And I told Barry that's not how business works anymore. It's SEO. It's search engine optimization. It's all about, you can still make sales calls.
when somebody's
sure.
looking for your service and goes to Google and looks you up, what
you
pops
need
up first?
to be on the top of
Top
the list.
3 or
and
4,
I told
yeah.
him that. And finally, we got one in store and we landed a lot of business from that.
It costs money to get up in the top 3
Yes.
or 4, though, so it's a risk, and he didn't know whether or not to trust you. But once he trusted in you, he realized that.
Yes.
But see, John, it does. That's the thing that makes it. I think that now that he knows that, that's why he thinks he can replace you.
That's fine. And, I told Barry, too, because Barry always has kind of said to me, he's like, prior to you being in the business, I could have hired all these guys with, major degrees and all this whatever.
Accolades, all types
which
of
is
shit.
fine. And I told him that today. I was like, listen, it's wonderful. Like, that gives you that opportunity to do so. Please do so. It might actually grow your business even further.
Mm-hmm.
I did the best that I could. I mean, his business has so many different aspects of it. That's what's put me-
Honestly, even like Todd, like he's like, did you? I'm sure you know, like his final.
Todd is one of our good friends.
I'm saying that his like final deal with that company that he got, he like has a real
Yeah,
man's
I know.
career now.
I know.
And like
He texted me and literally thanked me.
that, but I'm saying he should. It's something to be so grateful for, because coming from the same place I've come from as a lot of people in recovery have, where you feel like your life is going to be shit forever and then it's not anymore. Like, I think this is a turning point.
I want to ask you a question, and we'll come back to this point because I still want to continue on to it. But in the meeting today with my parents, my mother said she thinks that she thinks that I'm somebody that I put myself before others. She thinks that I need to go to homeless shelters and try to see and help others more. And I try to tell her, it's like,
That's what the root of this is like coming down to. That's the problem she has.
she
with you.
thinks that I put myself before anyone else. Do you see me as the exact opposite? Because Hallie was like, I see you as the exact opposite as that. I never put myself
I
first.
don't see you as the exact opposite, but I don't get that vibe from you at all.
No.
I'm saying like you do look out for yourself, but who doesn't? You're supposed to look out for
And
yourself.
of course, but no matter what,
But I'm saying if we're like at the gas station, like, and we all are getting snacks or something, like you will like buy the snacks for everybody.
it's not even that. It's like,
I'm saying like you're a giving person, definitely. So
Yes.
and I don't get that vibe from you. But if your mom does, it's definitely worth something taking in and
Sure.
trying to analyze why she might feel that way and what you could possibly be doing to make her feel that way. You know what I mean? That's just how like I would take it. But people feel all types of different things for all types of different reasons. So
I'm just saying, like, no matter what, when somebody has come to me for help, I've never denied them, ever. There's never been a time in my life that somebody's come to me and said, I need help, and I didn't get out of bed right away and say, I'll be right
even
there.
like at the beginning when you barely were able to give help and I like scammed you out of the $500, like that was like early on when you like first started having the money to be able to help somebody like that. So
Right.
like even after a bad experience like that, you've always still been there for people close to you 100%.
That's the same thing for David. Like, I mean, our buddy David that's been on the show a couple of times. I remember working at Walmart and I had no money. and I worked third shift. And it's crazy how it worked out, but it was like 4 tires in 1 month. It was like one per fucking week for some odd reason. He called me like 4 times a month, once per week. I just popped my tire in Willard. Can you come help me change it? Because he didn't know how to do that back then.
He really kept having flat tires.
I have no idea how it happened, but yes.
Dude,
and he kept calling me.
That's what I mean about the universe and stuff. Like weird things happen to us.
But he called me like middle of the day, and I worked third shift at Walmart, and I was like 18, 19 years old. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll be right there. And I didn't get any sleep at all. And every single time, no matter what, if you call me, I'm going to be there. So I put myself in that position no matter what, that's the kind of person that I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put myself, it's hard to say. It depends. It's all situational, I would say, without question. I mean, there's some situations that I would put myself and, of course, my family first. But most of the time,
you're overanalyzing at this point.
Most of the time, I will do something for somebody and not look out for what I need. You know what I mean? Kind of the same situation with David. Person. It's like tonight I have to work, but yeah, I'll get up from sleeping and go help you. Like I put people ahead of me in most situations too. You know, so it's hard to say.
No, and I don't. That's what, like, the only like thing that I can think of, like, if I were just like guessing, I would have thought your mom would be like if you were like drinking at work or something. Like
never.
Like, and that's what I mean. Like that's the only thing I could think of. So for her to say that it's because you're like being selfish, like, is it because like at 4:30 you like clock out on the dot every day? Like what?
Here's the big deal, and I'll give you. It's tough to say. Hallie used to tell me this all the time. I used to tell her, like, hey, I have to be to work at 9, no matter what. She's like, you don't have an exact time you have to go in. Like, Jesus Christ.
I hate when people say like that when you work for your parents, like you can just go whenever you want.
Not necessarily that I worked for my parents, but I worked with my parents.
I worked for my parents. You are an equal part in the business, and I didn't mean to like phrase it like that.
It's
but
fine.
You know what I mean? Like when people think just because like you mean something to the organization that you don't have to follow the rules too.
But to me, it wasn't following rules. It was I wanted to stay disciplined. No matter what, I wanted discipline. I wanted to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, no matter what.
It sets a standard.
My parents never are there at 9 in the morning. I was there every single day, 9 or earlier. They would pull in sometimes 10:30, 9:30, 10, 10:15, you know.
See, dude, and your thing is like you had like a right to be mad. Like
I'm not even mad about it.
No, I'm just saying if you wanted to, you could be like, we're equal parts here and I show up on time. Like, but like at mine, like I had the same thing go on. Like if one of my parents were taking over for me at the end of my shift, I could like pretty much expect that they would be 5 to 15 to 30 minutes late, you know? Sure. And it's just one of those things where obviously you're not going to make it a big deal, but it is just a little bit.
Here's one of my like biggest things, and especially for like people that own businesses, and that's like my biggest. It's not even in terms of your knowledge or how you actually run business or whatever happens. The biggest thing for me is I wanted again to just be disciplined. If you get into this run of I don't have to be to work till I can do whatever. I'll be there at 11 or something. Then you're going to run out of that idea that, your business doesn't matter. Like, it's making money, you're good. You
can't get complacent and content. You have to be driving.
Be complacent at all.
I agree with that.
And so every single day, I wanted to be there at 9 o'clock. And I don't think, maybe other than one time when Hallie had shingles, that I was late by like 18 minutes. But, yeah, I mean, that's just the biggest thing is you have to be disciplined. And the biggest thing is, like, my parents held that against me because sometimes, like, my work was finished up for the day. It's like, hey, it's 4 o'clock. I have nothing else to do.
We got a podcast to do sometimes. Yeah, you would come home for that.
I'm going to head out. It's no big deal. But, it's like they would hold that against me in some regard. It's like, I don't even know what to say here, guys. Sometimes you guys don't show up till 11:30, sometimes noon, because you're just sitting at home and you have something going on, whatever it may be. I'm here at 9 every single day. So if I want to take off at 4 o'clock or 3:50, that should be okay.
And that's totally, and honestly, that's what what I was saying earlier about my parents to your parents, you actually have a leg to stand on in that argument that you're making.
Sure.
If I say that to my parents, they say, then find another fucking job, you employee. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally different. Like, they can, like, they're the boss. They own the company. If they want to show up 15 minutes late, they can. You could deal with it or find another job, and that's that. With you, you know, they have to take into consideration how you feel. And I think no matter what, when you're a son and you're dealing with parents, and when you're dealing with where you were at as a younger adult to where you are now after your mom guided you in a way, she feels that sense of control that she should have over you.
Mm-hmm.
And she should be able to do what the fuck she wants, and you should just listen and fucking do what you're told.
That's what her mindset is.
And that's that's the vibe that I'm getting off of it. You just should never let it get to you, because understand that's what it is. It's a parent-child dynamic that shouldn't be mixed up. You shouldn't mix the money and the blood.
I literally almost took like a chapter out of your book for like our last fight that actually led up into this.
No.
Oh, I know it's not good. But, like every single time that you've been in any kind of altercation, if somebody was going to hit you, you said, just do it. Like just fucking hit me.
No, yeah, I've been there many times. Some people do, some people don't.
But the funny thing is like that day, my mother was like, I swear to God, I'll beat your fucking face in.
Do it,
and
Mom.
I was like, do it. I was like, go ahead, just punch me.
No, honestly, at that point, now you could sue your own mom.
Barry did the same thing. He was like ready. He told me, he's like, I'm gonna fucking throttle you. His word was throttle that day.
Damn,
and I was like,
what were you saying? I know your mom can get crazy, and I don't know Barry well, but I'm just saying he seems like he's more of an easygoing type of fella.
Sure, he definitely is. Absolutely. Won't deny that for any.
Throttle you is a term.
I know. Throttle is like.
No, you're talking about.
First of all, we're taking it back to 1820.
Popping a wheelie on a dirt bike, throttling that bitch.
Throttle. It's like throttle is like when you do this on a dirt bike, but it's just going to be your throat, you motherfucker. And then once it got to that point, it got so aggressive. Like
Choke
Barry.
me, Barry.
Barry got in here.
Choke me, Daddy.
But anyways, no, like Barry got involved in that, and he like kind of said that, and I was like, you can hit me too. I was like, just hit me. Because I was hoping for that. Because I was like, well, that's a lawsuit.
I will see both sides of this because that's how I am. Totally
Sure.
objective.
Critical
I can
theorist.
see from being on their side and thinking this fucking little ungrateful shit.
Sure.
Not fucking bowing down and just saying thanks and fucking running back when we ask him to come back. You know what I mean? Like, I can totally see that, and I'd probably be the same way if I was living through that perspective. And if I were you, I'd be exactly the same way too, being a smart ass till the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we're basically the same.
separating-
We're the same person, man. We will argue our point until it's proven correct.
I just can't not go with my gut.
What do you mean?
Like, if I have a gut feeling about something, I'll keep chipping away at it until I get to why I'm feeling that way. And there's always a reason. Like, I feel like everybody has that feeling inside them, and you just have you have to. The biggest difficulty in trying to conquer what I'm talking about is telling the difference between that feeling and an insecurity.
The biggest thing to me, in terms of like people that, exactly what you're saying, the big thing to me is like a lot of people just want to fight just to be right. Otherwise, some people just want to fight in an idea that they have an argument. But most people, it's almost that same kind of, what's that fucking saying that says, most people fucking listen to respond, but you should listen to understand, or some shit like that, or whatever the case may be. It's like the big thing is, that's kind of how I take my parents against me, is they're the parents, I'm the son, I'm involved in this business, but they're still the parents. And that's why family came so far into this business that I got into this fucking messy, so again, it's family business, but that's the idea of it, and no matter what, I'm always going to, it's tough to say. I'll always, if I think it's right, and I think I have a pretty good judgment of what right and wrong is, I will fight for what I think is, fight for your right. You know what I'm saying? Fight for your right to vote. Black Sheep, I think. Tommy, what is it? What was his name? Now just go back to those movies, Black Sheep and Tommy Boy. He used to be on background. Anyways, it's the idea of, just understanding what's right and wrong. It's that simple. you know. And I'm always going to argue my point until it's eventually I just give up. And you know, my brother, if you picture Greg, like Greg is the exact opposite. Like
He's like, whatever, think what you want.
It does
I
not
don't
matter.
care. Yeah.
He's right, no matter what.
Oh,
And with Greg, and I know Greg's personality so well clearly because he's my brother. Whatever,
I don't like getting in a fight with Greg at all.
dude. He will never stop ever. That's why I've learned.
Especially if he's drank too much.
Dude,
Holy shit.
It's really bad, Greg. Sorry, buddy, but we're
I'm
gonna
just
talk
saying
about
we
you.
can all get like that, but
Sure.
damn, Greg, you're stubborn than a motherfucker.
Yes, but Greg, like I've come to that point where I've learned that, like, if you're in an argument with Greg, you don't argue. You just. I've come to this point where I'm like, yeah, and it could be something that is so bad, like the most way off topic kind of fucking thing, like it's horrible, and then I'm just like, yeah,
Never
it's good.
mind.
Like,
But honestly, bro, Greg's wifed up now.
no, he's not. You talking about that young girl he was dating?
They're already broke up?
Yeah, I told you it wasn't gonna last.
Well, why would he go? He's never gone Facebook official with anybody since Ashley Rice, and then he goes Facebook.
Probably because
Facebook
she was
official with this girl?
23 and they want
He
to be
was just-
young gals want to be Facebook official.
Yeah, but what happened? Did she cheat on him?
She broke up with him, which young girls do.
Yeah, she's 23, Greg.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
No.
I didn't look that deep into it. I just was like, damn, Greg, nice.
Oddly enough, that started when, you know, prior to the family business fight or whatever. But, you know, my mom and I, we both said, like, that's not going to last long. There's no chance. There's no way, dude.
Greg, bro, I hope you're not watching. Straight up, that's fucking rude, but it's funny.
It's real, though. I mean,
No, Greg, you should have known better. But I hope you got to tap that young pussy.
that's so true, though. It's got to be nice. You get,
Especially for an airport, man.
Damn, dude, I don't want to put it on the podcast, but I'm going to. The craziest thing is when they announced it on Facebook, there was comments like from the family and whatnot.
He got
and
a lot of attention. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't do that.
somebody made a comment, like one of her family members, and it's horrible. She responded, "He's been chasing me since I was 18." That was 5 years ago. So Greg would have been 25 and she was 18. Or 20. No, Greg would have been 26 and 18. Kind of gross.
Hey,
Kind of gross.
18's 18, baby.
I mean, yeah, it's legal.
It's no, and it does. That's not kind of gross.
But I think it's kind of gross.
I think like, I don't know.
Here's the thing. Never mind. I'm not going to say it on the podcast. I'm not going to say it.
What?
Oh, shit. Okay, I will. I'll smush an 18-year-old push, but I'm not going to date it.
Oh, I get what you're
There's
saying.
no way.
I was just saying like, the age thing's a weird way to indicate like that kind of stuff. Like I don't know.
What do you mean? Like, the way I see it is like, just the idea is literally nobody knew it was happening. And then it just popped up on Facebook. And she comments on this thing that went like pretty big for our families, like her family's, my family, whatever. And then she says, "Oh, well, he's been chasing me since I was 18. Like, bitch, that was only like 4 years ago. That puts Greg at like fucking 26 or 7.
What all I was saying was that like at that age though, she really could have become somehow really mature for her age and want to settle down with Greg. There is. I know you and your
Nope.
mom are sitting back like this ain't gonna last long, but I'm saying anything is possible.
Nope. Because here's the big deal. This is the biggest
Does Greg
thing.
still grow weed up in that spare room?
Let me get through this, please.
Okay.
Because right when they started dating, this is the number one reason why we knew she wasn't mature. Right away, literally a week into them dating, she changed her not only profile picture, but her like what's the background photo? Is it what's that called on Facebook?
Banner.
The banner, and literally almost like this.
David Banner.
It was David Banner, like, you know, like
Have you
I
ever
go.
seen a Chevy with a butterfly dog?
Some stunt is a habit. But anyways, like literally she put her banner and her profile picture, which was almost identical photos, on the same day that they announced their relationship. and when you're that young, that was okay. I mean, we did
23.
that when we were young. It was no big deal.
I was doing some shit at 23.
I know, Kevin. But right when we saw that, it was like, yeah, she's not grown up yet.
No.
There's
You're
no
not
way.
grown up at 23. You just sure aren't.
There are mature people that are young. They definitely far more mature than what their age is. But when you see somebody just start dating somebody, you don't just instantly go for changing photos and like, yo, I'm with this guy. Yo, we're fucking, basically. It doesn't work like that. You can't announce it to the world that quick.
No.
Especially in the banner and I get the profile picture. If you want to do like a little cute, little cheesy, you know what I mean?
You're overdoing it at that point.
You're going way too fast. The second that my mom and I saw that, we were like, yeah, that's not going to work. No chance. It's not going to last. And then about 2 weeks later, she dumped him. Knew for no chance. I mean,
Was Greg sad?
no. It's Greg. Greg doesn't give a shit about anything. Greg has literally a beautiful house and he makes his own money. He doesn't give a shit.
When's the last time you guys hung out with Matt?
Young?
Yeah.
A long time. But
Yeah.
Greg still hangs out. He goes fishing with him.
I've been talking to him on Snapchat.
How's that going?
Fine.
You guys are dating?
No, we're just talking.
You gonna change your banner?
No. I'm not going Facebook official with him ever.
But no, but Greg was telling me that, because he still fishes with him, or that they still like go out on charter boats, I guess. I don't know fishing. I'd have to talk to Matt Rodriguez about that, because I guess they know fishing.
Matt Young still has my Durango.
It's still running?
He says that it purrs. He has it like fixed up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I thought you meant purrs and like it's a problem, but it like,
No,
purrs.
it's good. No, it's a good purr. He said the Durango's purring. You wouldn't believe it. That's what he said to me. Because you know why I've been talking to Matt mostly? Is because have you heard about the trailer park in New London?
Mm-mm.
You don't have Marvin on Facebook?
I do. But I don't do social
Marvin
media.
should have a podcast.
We could bring him on. Marvin, come on the show.
Marvin McAllister, if you're watching, you could do a podcast so easily. Because he like listens to the scanner and like updates New London on when
I
stuff's
know
happening.
that.
So like the trailer park, the Adams, Tommy Adams and DJ Adams,
Mm-hmm.
they've been like on meth and heroin, and like the ambulance keeps having to go out there, and they just keep going to the hospital and sending them back home instead of sending them to jail. And like one night, one of them was pooping on the porch, and the other one was running around in his boxers. It's funny, but there's kids. There's, like,
I know
kids
it's
out
crazy, but you imagine just the scene from what's the fucking Billy Madison's like he called the shit poo because there's
It's like
fucking shit
Reno
on the porch.
911 is what it reminds me of, but
Yeah.
it's real.
I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
I was just saying that's why I've been talking to Matt, because I was telling him about that.
Jeez, I had no idea. I mean, I see Marvin's posts. I feel like he's actually like oddly enough. I don't know if he got his position. He's like on city council, but like
He records them.
like a member of it. He just gets to sit in and
Yeah,
he
no,
records it. And
you could go to those meetings.
Yeah, of
John.
course.
Anybody
Of course.
in New
Anybody
London can
can.
sit in, and he just records them. He's not like a special thing.
but he's very interested in that kind of stuff, and
No.
that's actually kind of
important.
a nice thing. It could actually do something on social media, especially
if
on
Marvin
the.
runs for mayor in a couple, 10 years, I'd vote for him if I lived in New London.
I love Marvin, but he's a sick, twisted bitch, just like all of us.
Why?
Dude, he talks just as
Just
gross
'cause of
as all of
Colby?
us do. What?
Because Colby?
I'm not gonna say her last name. I didn't even want to bring up.
McAllister.
Yeah. Anyways, yes, no, not Colby, but he just is the same people that we are. We're just these we curse a lot and we talk about bad things, and I only say this because David was selling his Judy's Cadillac that she had, that black Cadillac, and they sold it to I didn't actually like meet Marvin until this, but they sold that Cadillac to Marvin, and I got to talk to him like personally that night, and we
What,
it was like this.
just like a year ago?
No, it was like 2 months ago.
Oh. First time you ever met Marvin was 2 months
I
ago.
met him several times.
I've known Marvin since I was like 12.
I've known Marvin since I've known Todd, but I never talked to him. I've never actually got to know who he was. But he's the same kind of piece of shit that we all are from New London. Like, we
Yeah.
just talk about dumb shit, and we make stupid comments, we make jokes, and we, whatever the
So
case
he'd
may
be
be.
a good mayor.
And that's no. I don't think so. You think that?
Yes.
You think, could you imagine Marvin in a suit? You put him in a nice Gucci suit.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And a fucking like
Marv, can you wear a suit?
A pimp my ride tow truck in a suit.
Yeah, I can't imagine going to one of these meetings and Marvin is sitting at the head of the table and he's wearing a suit and he's like, "So the proceedings are about to begin.
He wouldn't
Anybody
say
want to
that.
lead?" Of course not. I'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on?" So
wouldn't say
this
that.
week, this happened. Literally, that's who he is. He made a joke because when they were buying that Cadillac from David and his grandmother, Hallie drove by 'cause she was coming home from work, and I was like, she was my girlfriend at the time. She's my fiance now. I was like, my girlfriend's about to drive by. I just want to wave to her when she did. And when she did, because I was like, man, she's running late, but she was working late that day. And Marvin literally right away said, he's like, "Yo, she just came back from fucking some guy. You should probably
No.
check her."
That's the
Like,
same. That's the kind of guy he is. He's
Yeah,
way
that's what
more.
I'm talking about.
But I'm saying he'll make those jokes in front of anybody.
I know. And don't get me wrong.
Honestly, you're right. He would be a bad mayor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making those jokes in front of just anybody.
In any kind of politics, he doesn't fit it. But in terms of
That's
choice
the same
making,
thing Donald Trump would say. to
in terms
you,
of
dude.
choice making, yes, he would
Swear
be
to
good.
God, Donald Trump would say the same exact thing.
Exactly.
He would think it was so funny. He'd be cracking up after he said it.
The funny thing was, I went with it. Right when he said that, I was like, "Yeah, she probably fucking is. I should probably throw a rock at her car."
He probably cracked up.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Marvin.
But anyways, Kev, I mean, how long have we been talking
About
now?
an hour.
About an hour. All right, I think it's time to wrap it up. Anyways, we got a YouTube channel, as you guys know. Follow us at the YouTube channel AA with John and Kev. You know, we are on Apple and Spotify every single.
No, we're just releasing when we want to.
Basically, at this point, it's been tough with
this,
the YouTube.
This episode's called John's Moving to North Carolina.
Whoop whoop.